Alright, it is a Sunday. I did not realize until right when I was about thinking about going to sleep that I have not even done the weekly recap, so this is what it's going to be right here. And this ended up being a red week, negative $15. And if we look back, this is about the average in terms of a red week. We do have one here that was 39, and then we have a 6, 11, 16. So give or take maybe the average for a red week, which is a lot larger, not larger, a lot smaller than most of the green weeks, which is good. And I'm gonna have to guess, and I might not have the most, mental resources available considering how tired I am, but to take everything into consideration, I think the main issue I had with last week was that I was just not able to really capitalize on the morning panic bounce plays that were super profitable. I either missed the morning panic bounce play setup. I think I missed PBYA like 2 times. There was one with RGBP, but it wasn't really that nice. And then on the ones that I do take, I barely held on to it long enough for it to really make a difference. And I did miss a few opportunities where I could have made like a nice 150 plus dollars on like a $1,500 position. One was with an SAV, but I feel like things are getting better. The only thing that's really saving me from looking at the stats is this winning percentage is just slightly in favor. My average dollar gain, I did have some baby trades like this one was 6. My average loss was actually double that, and my average percent gain and percent loss was pretty close, but my average percent loss was a bit bigger. Most of it was really into this WDLF setup that I probably shouldn't have traded. My average dollar size is a lot smaller than my average dollar size on a losing trade, because I did try a large position right here. I did try with RGBP a $1,300 position, and that was a really good trade. I feel like I traded that well. My average time in the trade that is winning is a minute 29. I need to make that higher. A lot of these setups, again, a lot of these morning panic bounce play setups really worked out. I just did not hold long enough, and my average time in a losing trade was just a tiny 24 seconds, which is nice. That obviously means that I get in the trade, it doesn't work, and I immediately cut it. But maybe I shouldn't have even have been there. I don't know, but I'm pretty happy with that. And then my average dollar, my total dollar volume traded was 4,000, and as in the setups, I got a B minus in terms of how well the setups were. And then right here, how I traded, which to me makes a lot of sense, was a D plus, a 77. If I look back, yeah, I definitely felt like I could have done a lot better. I'm going to go ahead and go over these trades, and if we look at the calendar, it was a 12, negative 35. This is the one with WDLF. I probably shouldn't have traded it. A nothing day here, and another 2, and then this one was a profitable day. But again, I have to get a lot better with morning panic bounce plays. Let's make this quick and go over all of the trades. And the first one was a morning panic bounce play. Horrible sell. One of the things with morning panic bounce plays, a lot of them would like trade in a range, and then I would risk that range and it would uptrend. But some of these now, at least is what it seems like at this moment, they just reverse by just a price action on level 2. Yes, give or take, you look at support resistance levels, but a lot of these just do a quick 2-minute reversal. So 1 minute is heading towards the bottom, and it bottoms, and then the next minute it kind of reverses and starts the uptrend. That's what these were. Let's look at PBY8 for the 23rd. It's a nice one, and it's still up, so this one could be a potential morning panic bounce play for this upcoming week, as well as RGBP. But this was the day at its highs. I'm gonna guess I traded off of the wick. 23rd is right here. Let's just go ahead and do it from here. It does seem like a nice head and shoulders right here. Shoulder, head, shoulder, and this one got from like 1.7, and then this one broke actually the neckline, got the 15. That seems nice. Next, well, Yeah, we're right before September, but September 20th, in theory, I should be able to short again with that other account. If I really wanted to, I could try and just make another account, but I don't want to have too many accounts. PBYA was the 23rd, and that was an entry at 932. Let's look at 932 at 146. So right here, 932, 146. Yeah, this was a killer entry. The only thing I don't like is that VWAP is super close to that level, and it did kind of have, it seems like maybe it had a gap down or something, but you know, it did downtrend. I did trade the level 2, the 2 candle reversal. I don't really like 932 because sometimes it's a little fake out and it drops a few more minutes. But yeah, that was the buy at 146. I sold 933 the next minute at 149. Right here, yeah, pathetic sell in at 146. 149. VWAP was right there at 151. I could have at least sold at VWAP. I made a new rule Friday. When it comes to this setup, I'm gonna do two things. Either one, risk, you know, a certain level, which in this case would have been 145 where it closed. If it would have gotten below 145, or maybe if I wanted to, I could have risked 143. I don't remember my exact risk level, but it would probably be one of those two. I'm either going to sell because it breaks the risk level, it makes a new low on the range. I'm going to sell if that's the case, or if a red candle is formed. I think that's going to help me a lot, you know, because if it makes a red candle under VWAP, then maybe it's going to channel there and maybe it will break it eventually or downtrend some more. I'm going to do that, and I hope I can remember to actually do that. I'm going to try to sell these things when it freaking does its first red candle, at least, you know. If it doesn't get past VWAP and makes a red candle, I'll consider selling. You know, if it breaks the risk level, I'll sell for sure. I think that will help me be a lot profitable. If I were to put 168, for example, let's just see what that would have been. Damn, that would have been super profitable. Would have been a 15% move, $88. I would have made my freaking week. And I had like two other one of these that I just traded horribly. 168, and it didn't even, you know, that's not even the highest level. It got to 18.2. Yeah. On top of that, I'm gonna start considering more like the market cap, because you know it's a loose translation of what the float is. Obviously, if something like PBYA that has a much lower flow is going to potentially do a move like this more than something like DPLS, which has a ridiculous amount of shares. So another thing to take into consideration, but clearly I'm going to try that red candle rule just to help me, you know. Even if the next one I trade, you know, I have to sell for that reason, fine. I hope it can help me be a lot more profitable, but at least I did get a super good entry at 146. LTNC was next, and that was the same day. Let's look at LTNC for the 23rd. It's not as nice as PBYA in terms of a daily chart, because it obviously is going to have a lot of resistance from previous price action movement, but it did get from this 6.4 sub penny level too. Yeah, over a penny, which is nice. Let's go ahead and look at the 23rd. Here was that morning panic bounce play. I guess this one happened later. It doesn't look too nice. My entry was 934, 127. So 934, 127, pretty good entry. That was a level 2 reversal. And this is the case where, hey, look, it makes a red candle. It's under VWAP. Maybe I should consider selling. That's totally something what I'll consider. Morning panic bounce play, tiny partial fill. Oh, that might have helped a lot with my freaking average dollar gain position size, $11. That is so small. It looks like I bought and sold the same minute, 127 and 130. I think I was going for a large size too, but yeah, I just didn't get executed. My full size, it did get as high as 135. And in theory, this one did have that red candle after my entry, after the, you know, potential reversal with the two candles. You know, that's not to say, oh yeah, you know, the red candle strategy only works on the setups that you didn't trade well. No, this is one where I did trade well. You know, it was a tiny size. I got out immediately. Didn't even care about the pattern anymore because the pattern was there, but the size was just so small. I didn't get a large position. I just didn't get a lot of shares executed. So closed it there, but it did have a red candle, and I still would have had a chance to sell for a profit at the same level actually. So that was a good attempt. I was going for 40,000 shares. Let's just see what that would have been. Of course, not, you know, trading it perfectly because, you know, I sold extremely soon because I wanted it, you know, I wanted a larger size, so I got out the trade quickly, but I would have barely made my week profitable. That's funny. And this one didn't work out. Again, it's just not the same, not the best daily chart, you know, a lot of bag holders, but that was not a bad attempt at all. I did drop from 16, make a low as, you know, go as low as 12. So that's definitely fine. Even though it didn't work, that was a good attempt. RGBP, morning panic bounce play. This is my large size trade that didn't work out, but I put a big yes. I felt like I really traded it well. Let's see RGBP for the 24th. Let's just do it from there. Yeah, this one's a nice potential morning panic bounce play. It could also break this, you know, previous high right there. So yeah, this one has a lot of potential right at its highs. Not a bad stock at all for a morning panic bounce play potential. You know, especially because it's so high up. There's less chance of bag holders. Very nice. This was it, the morning panic bounce play. Let's just zoom in a little larger, but I do want to note that this one did break VWAP later in the day, and that did make a nice move from 43 to 46. This is not that bad, but it's actually something I've seen a lot with these, and I could probably push myself and start to get more experience trading setups like that. Let's look at my entry. I was in and out the same minute. I was in the trade here for 10 seconds. I guess I just didn't really like the price action. Let's look at it. I was in at 441, 932, and I sold at 932, 440. So 932 was right here, and I got in because probably I felt like it was going to reverse on level 2. Maybe it was going to do a level 2 reversal. As you remember that other trade I was in at 932, this is the one where, you know, it does a fake out. I see that happen a lot, but I pushed it on the other one and this one as well. It didn't work here. So I pretty much got in here at 441 because this was the low of this previous candle, and when it cracked to that 441 level, I immediately got out at 44, which is perfect because, you know, you might think, oh, well, it might just hold 44 and then it'll bounce. Well, from my experience, when it does that, it actually breaks a lot lower, and it did get as high as 435, which is something I don't want to be a part of when I try, you know, trading these with a larger size. So yeah, that was a good attempt. And then I did miss the ultimate turnaround right here. Kind of would have been a little sketchy because it had that wick. I can see how I would miss something like this, but it did do eventually a morning panic bounce play. I don't mind this one at all. I do mind that other trade where I sold horribly the next minute, and this would have been one where, you know, I would have sold again because, you know, I broke that risk level. But even if I got in at 436, it does that move, it gets to V1, but we have that red candle, so I think that's going to help me a lot to trade these, because a lot of them, when they do work, they just go straight up. Nice beautiful green candles. I think I can be a part of that. Alright, yeah, these were my two trades that were not good. The first one was fine. Second one was not good. In fact, the second one is why I have a red day, basically because I shouldn't have traded it. I did break a rule. Let's look at WDLF. These were two late morning panic bounce plays for the 24th. So let's look at WDLF for the 24th. And yeah, this one is crappy because you see there's a lot of, it's like LTNC has a lot of potential bag holders. Let's look at the 24th, right about here. It didn't even have like nice 3 green candle days in a row. At least LTNC had that. This one doesn't really have it, so Yeah, just comes to show how important it is to keep by your rules. Well, I guess since it was a late morning panic bounce play, I probably should just highlight the entire day. It was probably at that downtrending price action right here. My entry was 12. I got in and out the same minute, 12.13. It probably just broke a risk level immediately. Let's look at 12.13.83. Yeah, let's go ahead and highlight this. So 12.13. At least I did wait for a big volume candle, which was right here. Right? Or was that the same minute I got in? Nope, it was the same minute I got in. But sometimes it does have the big volume candle and it reverses immediately the next minute. This was clearly not the case with me, not what I was interested in. And again, I was in the first one, 83, and now at 805. So 83 right here. Yeah, I felt like it was probably going to reverse, and I was risking 81. And then when it cracks 81, which was the previous low, it makes a new low. You know, I got out to 80. So at least I didn't get the very bottom, but that was an okay attempt. I mean, it could have worked, but it wasn't up 3 days in a row. Sub penny stock, middle of the day. Probably shouldn't have even traded the first one, but definitely not the second one. Next one, same minute. 12.15, and this one really got to me. I have this rule where if it's a morning panic bounce play, if I get out in and out and it doesn't seem like it worked out, don't trade it again unless it makes a new range lower, which would have been down here. Instead, I jumped right back in it because I thought, oh, this thing is trading all weird, all bouncy, I should try again. But I've also learned that a lot of them that do stuff like this fail too. So yeah, this second trade was pretty bad. 12.15. Yeah, this one sucked. 82 and 78. 12.15 was right here. Yeah, so I was in at 82 because it looked like it was going to turn around again. At least I didn't get 83, but I did get in at 82. And then this was a low, this 79 level. So when it cracked it here, I got out at 78. It was in and out the same minute, but I was in for a large portion of it. I shouldn't have traded that. Just all I can say about that. Shouldn't have traded. Really, it wasn't even a good setup. But that second one I shouldn't have traded. Again, because it was still trading in the same range. And I've learned not to do that. I should have applied it there. That would have helped me a lot. But a good reminder. OZSC, the 26. Morning spike. Let's look at that. 26 is give or take here. I mean, I guess it had a low at 41. Not a bad double. It is a double, but again, you can see a pattern. These things aren't working as well because there is a lot of overhead resistance. You know, honestly, if I get my short selling account, it'll probably be better to do stuff like that. The only one of them that has really turned around since its initial pump was this one right here, RGBP. Most of these don't work, and I think I can really apply, you know, some trading under that thesis and maybe be profitable with it. Let's look at the 26 morning spike. So let's just highlight this price action. As you can see, this was the first uptrending day, like the first massively uptrending day. It did get as high as 93. Let's just highlight it right about here. Why not? And you know, I can also show the price action here. Morning spikes, that's something I have a little less experience with, but I am growing that, so I am a bit more lenient on how I trade these. Small size. Let's look at 930, 7789. Let's probably zoom in a bit more. Yeah, 930, 7789. So basically right here, basically right there was my entry. It was running up nicely the other day. It could continue a morning spike today. It was holding green on the day. Why not take a trade? It did get as high as 815. I saw the next minute at 7924. So 79, I guess right here, 792. The next minute The percent gain was not that much, was it? 1.73. And here's another case where it has a red candle. Not really a morning pending bounce play. This is a morning spike, but you know, I guess sell after the first red candle, or right when it looks like it's going to actually close red. Not so bad at all. Good attempt. Oh, it was a partial fill too. Alright, yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Some great experience. TPTW. Okay, I haven't seen these really work that nicely. I mean, some of them are very profitable, but I seem to always get in the ones that don't work. This one was kind of iffy. I probably shouldn't have traded it, but this was a first dip towards VWAP setup. Let's look at TPTW for the 26. Okay, let's not make it look that ugly. There we go, second green day. Nice move the other day, a lot of room for potential. This was a 26th. First dip towards VWAP. Let's see where exactly that was. I'm gonna guess, yeah, it was this one right here. My entry was 945, 572. So let's zoom in a bit more. 945 right here. And then 572. Right about here was my entry. I've seen some of these have like big volume candles as it touches VWAP and it reverses. This one did not work. Maybe I shouldn't have traded it because it did have a wick under it. And a lot of them that do work doesn't even wick under it. It kind of holds it perfectly. This thing just wasn't trading it perfectly, and I kind of pushed myself, but you know, it was a good attempt nonetheless. You know, just getting more trading experience. And I did sell the moment it kind of broke my risk level. I'm not sure where my clear risk level was anymore, but I did sell the next minute at 555. So right here I saw at 555, which really isn't that bad. You know, kind of, it does trade with a lot of range, but that's fine. And this one did do an inverse head and shoulder, shoulder head shoulder. I remember talking about this. I did miss it, and this one was very clean, really. Here was a red candle, but it held VWAP. Another, this might have sketched me out. That was nice, but yeah, this was an okay attempt. Probably shouldn't have really traded it because it did have that sketchy wick there, but I've seen some of these work even with big volume candles. Let's look at the next one, TBTW again. The 27th morning panic bounce play. Right here, so this was the last day. And this one I traded horribly too. Let's look at the 27th, which was right back here. That works. My entry was 934. This is like my favorite minute to buy these morning panic bounce plays because they seem to work the nicest. 934, 402. Let's zoom in a little more. 934. Yep, this was a freaking killer entry. 402. The 2 minute, you know, reversal, hitting the low and then bouncing from the low. You can see a reversal more often than not in level 2. Very nice. Really nice entry. 402. Really killer size. 400. Not killer size. I mean killer entry. And then pathetic sell. 935. 417. That was dumb. Right here. Where did it get to? 51.8. I'm gonna be trying that. You know, maybe we won't have any morning panic bounce plays this week. I hope we do, but I'm gonna try that red candle rule. Let's just see if I were to have sold at 52, what that would have been. Yeah, dude, that would have really made my week. $100 flat, almost a 25% move. That would have been killer. Instead, I just sold the next minute. I'm gonna try that, you know. That's why I put no as in did I trade it well, and that's why it's really affected here compared to here. I typically trade better than what my setup score. I'm gonna try that red candle rule, and let's look at the last trade. OZSC, tiny size, speculative, inverse head and shoulders. Let's look at OZSC. Yeah, again, not the best long-term chart. I guess that's why it doesn't really work that nicely. I did trade this Sahara Desert looking thing. Let's do it from here. And I already see where I got in. Let's just do it from this level. And my entry was 1041, 6095. So basically 601, 1041. So 1041 was back here. Yeah, basically right here, 1041. Right here, shoulder, head, shoulder. And I didn't get in at the best price. In theory, I should have been in at this like 604 level, but instead I'm in at 609, and it did work eventually. It just took a while. Let me do it from here. Again, this looks a lot nicer, a lot easier to read. Shoulder, head, shoulder, 1041. So I'm in right here, basically 609. Yeah, I mean, it did work. It even got past VWAP, right? It even got to 6.4. It did put up higher lows, right? Shoulder, head, shoulder, higher low, higher low, higher low, and a higher low. I don't mind the trade. I did sell 4 minutes later, and that was me just trying to get sold earlier, but it didn't get, you know, I didn't really actually get sold until 10:45 at 613. 10:45 was right here, 613, and eventually I think I probably would have sold maybe, you know, right about here for break even or a tiny loss, because the bid was not supporting it. For a while the bid was holding the 608 level, so when it broke it, that might have gotten me out of the trade, but it did work out eventually, and I think that was okay. That's something I can't do with a lot more size later on in the day, not in the day but in the trading career, in theory, if I keep growing. But I think that was okay, just a good speculative trade. That's really all I got. If I had to summarize this, just wait for the first red candle to form. If I'm gonna sell, it's gonna be because I broke, you know, it broke under my risk level, so I have to cut losses quickly, or a red candle is formed under VWAP, so I sell because maybe it's topping out under VWAP. You know, there were examples in today's weekly recap showing setups that didn't have a red candle until it has well broken past VWAP and became super profitable. And there were others like LTNC that formed a red candle under VWAP and ended up topping out there, making another leg down. So I'm going to take that into consideration. Hopefully that can help me have a super duper profitable week this week, God willing. If there are good setups, I'm thankful for the progress. I didn't do anything absolutely stupid this week except for that second, WDLF trade. On average, my green days are still my green weeks are still much larger than my red ones. Let's just see. Right, let's just highlight my green weeks. And now let's do that for my red ones. Yeah, my average green week is 3 times larger than my average red week. Let's continue working on that. I look forward to this week. I look forward to sleeping. And yeah, that's really all I got. I look forward to this week, or I guess an hour from now it's going to be the next week. Let's try to do that that red candle rule, and then I will try the 3 ticker rule again. There was one, I didn't go over it here with NSAV. I didn't trade it, but that was a super potentially profitable setup that I missed out on. But I learned just from remembering basic support resistance levels. I don't want to get too carried away on something I didn't go over, so I'm going to call it off right here. Yeah, I look forward to trading. I'm thankful to God for the progress. No big mistakes except for WDLF, and of course I need to do better on my selling. My entries are doing great. I just need to capitalize on those winning trades and sell better, and that would help me a lot. Really, really nicely. So I'll call it off right here. Just a lot of good lessons learned.